So much of what we do, so much of living, relies on sight. Not sight, the word with an E at the end, but sight, S-I-G-H-T. I was reminded of this yesterday when I went to assist one of my consulting clients with some computer issues. This person has been a client of mine for a long time. I'd have to look at my records, but I'm going to guess for at least 15, if not closer to 20 years. And during that time, so much has changed. On the technology front, the person's old desktop that weighed about 20 pounds and was more like a large boat anchor was replaced by a laptop and later another much smaller desktop and an iPad, and then as of yesterday, a larger iPad. On the personal front, we've both grown older, which of course does seem to be something that just happens. During this time, my children grew up. I remarried. I became a college professor and accepted my call to ministry. At the same time, my client learned they suffered from macular degeneration. At first, the effects of the disease didn't have a major impact on their life. They were still able to work on the computer for hours at a time and to drive. Over time, however, macular degeneration has progressed. Today, my client is able to see, using their eyes, very little. There's no more driving because it wouldn't be safe. My client knows me by the sound of my voice. You see, every face looks the same. The features are indistinguishable. Reading an email on a computer, something that many of us probably take for granted, requires my client to use a television as a monitor and to sit about 6 or 8 inches away from it. To make that same task easier on the new iPad, I had to make some adjustments, like enabling the largest icon setting possible and bumping the font size, again, to the largest setting possible. But I know at some point in the very near future, those modifications just won't be enough. In what I would consider to be a few short years, my client's life has completely changed, all because of one thing, the thing that allows us to see the beauty of creation in all its glorious colors. And that's being taken away by a disease, which of course is quite different from the experience of somebody who has been blind from birth. Eyesight, if you think about it, really is a wonder. Images are projected upside down onto the back of our eyes, and our brains perceive them as right side up. The muscles that control our eyes are the most active ones in our bodies, and there is a reason for the saying, in the blink of an eye. Did you know that the eye is the fastest muscle in the human body? Did you know that the human eye blinks on average 4.2 million times a year? The human eye can also differentiate approximately 10 million colors. But of course, that's nothing. For those who are ages 3 to 5, the eyes are really amazing. They can close them, they can cover them with their hands, and then, in the blink of an eye, they are invisible. All kidding aside, our eyes are so sensitive that they can detect a single photon, one particle of light, in a dark room. One of the researchers who conducted the study that discovered that described it this way. It's not like a dim flash of light or anything like that. It's more a feeling of seeing something rather than really seeing it. The analogy the researcher provided was that it's like looking at a faint star, and 1 second you see it, and the next you don't. Interestingly, this is the exact opposite of what many of us, like the blind man who received his sight in John chapter 9, see in Jesus, who is the light of the world. 1 minute, that man who had been blind since birth was seeing nothing. Then, with a little spit, some mud, and a quick wash in a pool on Sabbath, he was not only seeing the world around him, but seeing Jesus for who he was. In a lot of ways, we're like the blind man who was a beggar before he received his sight. We're questioning, we're wondering, we're wandering in the darkness. Then we see a faint glimmer of light like a star. Only it's not 1 second you see it and the next you don't. Rather, it's 1 second you don't see it, and then next you see it all around you. Light illuminating darkness, helping us to see what is around us and where we are going, bringing us warmth and comfort, revealing truth and beauty. Jesus brings light into our lives. Jesus came into the world to reveal the truth about God and to bring salvation to humanity. He showed us the way to God and eternal life. Without him, we would be lost in darkness, unable to see the path ahead of us. As Christians, we are called to reflect the light of Jesus to the world around us. We are called to be his witnesses, shining his light in the darkness of the world. We can do this by living a life that reflects his love and his truth. We can share his message of hope with those who are lost in darkness.